Am I in my mouth?
Oh, excuse me?
Am I in my mouth?
Are you in your mouth?
Am I in it? My mic? My mouth.
Ha. You whispered. That was weird.
Sorry about it. So
what's your scary story?
This. Oh my God.
This intro right now.
This is a nightmare. So I was sleeping last night, as one does. And I live near train tracks. So, sometimes if I'm not getting a great night's sleep, the train usually goes by between 3:30 in the morning. And if I'm not getting a great night's sleep, it'll wake me up. So I randomly wake up about like 3:30 in the morning. I'm assuming due to the train tracks. And I have two cats, Salem and Suki. I usually do not let them sleep in the bed with me at night because they'll wake me up throughout the night when they move and stuff. So on the weekends, usually one night during the weekend, I'll let them sleep in the bed with me. I'm like a mother with her toddler, like one night and that's it.
Just one.
We co-sleep. So Suki is snoozing. She's fine. Salem is much more like moves a lot during the night and stuff. So I wake up at around 3:30 and he's, walking toward me and he wants pets and attention. And I'm like, it's 3:30. So I start petting him, whatever. At one point, I'm like laying on my back and he like lays on my chest, all cute and sweet, and is just like curled up and like he is just the cutest thing. For those who don't know, Salem is my fluffy black cat. He's got the prettiest green eyes, and he was a human that got turned into a cat. When you look at him, he's just got this intelligence. He's very sweet. He has never met a stranger. He loves everybody. Very affectionate. Very chill cat. So I'm petting him, whatever. And at one point, I'm like, okay, like I need to turn over on my side so I can try and go back to sleep. So I kind of like move him, turn over on my side. I fall back asleep, but I'm in this weird like in between awake and asleep sort of state where have you ever like dreamed while you were in that in between state? And so like things get weird. So at one point I'm sleeping on my side and then I just hear like a whispered, hey. And then it scares me because I hear it so clearly. And then my eyes pop open and Salem is sitting right in front of me, this close to my face, staring me in the face. And it terrified me. I'm like, Salem spoke to me. I swear to God, he spoke to me. He said, hey. And then I woke and my eyes popped open and he was right there. I'm terrified.
Well, what did he want?
Nothing. I was just like, I like kind of was like petted him and I was like, okay, go away. You're like, scared mommy.
Get away from me.
So that's my scary story. My cat terrified me around, 3, 4 in the morning.
That's the witching hour. But isn't that what they say?
Yeah. 3 a.m. is the witching hour.
I used to wake up at 3 a.m. on the dot every day of my life. For like, I'm like forever. And then I don't really do that anymore. I don't know.
When I was on a certain type of medication at one point in my life, a couple of years ago, I didn't sleep great. And so for several months, every night I got shitty sleep and would wake up around 3:30 in the morning every single night. And I'm pretty sure it was because of the train that would go by on the schedule.
At least there's like a logical explanation, not so much of like a, yeah.
But like, I assume it's a train because I don't ever remember waking up and being like, oh, I hear the train going by or whatever. But you would think I would because
you should keep going.
I live very close to the train tracks.
Yeah, you
like
do.
You can hear it very clearly. My house shakes.
Yeah.
Like literally the dishes rattle. That's how I know a train is coming.
Because I can hear it from my house.
Yeah.
So you're like right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can practically see it from one of my windows if I crane my neck enough. Like I'm very close. So, but I don't ever remember waking up and being like, oh, it was a train. I just woke up and was like, it's 3:30 again. But yeah.
See, now it's like, if that would have happened to me with Salem, I would be like, I have to move and
get rid of the cat. No, I can't get rid of him because he'll hunt me down and kill me. He'll feel like I abandoned him or something.
I just want to know like whose cat he was before, because he had to have been somebody's cat. Because I think we've told the story on here before where basically Salem showed up at my house in like the country where we used to live. Just showed up and came back every day. It was the sweetest thing ever. But we couldn't have him because we already had an indoor cat and it was not going to be a vibe. And Salem didn't really dig the dogs. So
he's okay with dogs as long as they're not like in his face. But I've only had our one friend Sierra's dog in my house and Salem like kind of plays with it a little bit, but tolerates it.
I feel like playing's a creative word to use. I don't see it as that. I see it very much as Salem is very irritated. This dog is in his space and he's not a fan.
But Salem doesn't get irritated though. Like, I mean, okay, maybe he's like tolerating it, and then when it gets too close, he's like, back the fuck up. But I mean, but like my other cat is the biggest fraidy cat in the world. Like, runs hiding when anyone comes in my house that's not me. So
or me apparently. Now.
Yeah,
because
she's kind of chill with you.
Yeah, because I've fed her enough. She's like, meow. I'm starving. Meow.
Okay, enough about my old cat lady self. My crazy cat lady self. I'll just be a spinster forever with cats. I draw the line at 2. I cannot have more than 2 cats.
Okay, I'll tell you got a little kitten that just shows up one day, then you're...
Nope.
What are you going to do with it? If it just shows up, you're just not going to do... You're just
nope. There's plenty of feral cats and stray cats that live around my apartment.
Kitten. If a cute little kitten was like, meow.
Survival of the fittest.
You're going to hell. That's evil. If you see a little kitten show up, you just need to call me.
Its mommy is somewhere nearby, I'm sure.
Clearly, it's not. If it's just like, meow.
And if its mommy got hit by a car, I'm sorry. But circle of life.
Okay, then you just call me and I'll just come help the kitten. The poor innocent little kitten. You damn heartless wench.
The heartless wench who adopted a shelter cat and then took in your wild country cat.
Now, I will say he would have been fine because Travis's dad was very much disappointed when he left.
Oh,
he was like, "What'd you do with my cat?" And I was like, I gave him to Anna so he'd like live.
So he has a home.
And he was like, "But I liked that cat." And I was like, I'm aware and I'm sorry, but this is what has been done and decided.
Sorry about it.
So I don't really have any, I'm trying to, see, I had a thought and then it was gone immediately. So
it's never coming back.
No. Oh, I have a question for the Swifties because we're going, so today's what? Today's the 17th, 16th, 15th. It's one of the teens.
15th.
I'm like, what does it say? Yeah, today's the 15th. So my question is, so backstory. We're going to go see Taylor Swift on the 29th. So there's been this talk about friendship bracelets, right? People have been making them. And they hand them out to just each other at the shows. Oh,
like just trading?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. I just spit all over Mike.
That's not cool.
No, it's not. Ew, it's like...
So I guess my question is, are we really doing that? I've seen a lot of other people at other shows do it. So my question is, Atlanta girlies.
How do you know? Like, is this, okay, do you just start handing out the bracelets? Like, are people trading or are they just giving them out? Or is it like people who are like friends online and part of the Swiftie community on Twitter and they're like, or TikTok?
One girl gave one to Selena Gomez as she walked by. Oh. So, which would be like my actual dream.
We should make Swiftie friendship bracelets and wear them with our outfits.
So I'm sitting here going, all right, Swifties, I need to the Atlanta girlies that are going to the Atlanta show. Are we doing that? I need you to reply in the comments of this clearly going to be real because I am not going to make these fucking bracelets and then get stood up. All right. If my affection is not reciprocated,
I'll be very upset.
Yes, I will be very, very upset. So I just need to know if we're doing that.
So I feel like, how do you like tell people without telling them that you have bracelets that you want to trade? Do we need to bring like a poster, a small one that we can like hold up when we're walking to and like,
I have friendship bracelets. Do you want to be my friend?
Like we'll trade friendship bracelets. Like, and we need to just kind of like stand near-ish.
I don't know.
Like get there a little early.
Because I was like,
stand outside.
I'm going to have a clear bag and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. And then I've seen where they've done the different colors for the different eras. And I'm like, some of these girls are going all out. And so then like, what if some girls are there and then she hands us a bracelet and I don't want to give back to her. I'm going to feel like a trash person.
Well, I mean.
So now we have to go to fucking Hobby Lobby or Michael's and get a fucking friendship bracelet kit.
Clearly, because we don't have anything else going on in our lives.
This is the most important thing going on in my life is going to this concert. Do you understand the amount of bullshit that I've put myself through mentally? Clearly, everyone's going to be really concerned with what I'm wearing. Me. Because I already ordered one thing, which decided was too extra, sent it back, got combat boots, that didn't work, sent it back, have my whole other outfit that I ordered, waiting for it to get here. And then I'm like, why are we all doing this? all of us, all of these Swifties are like
it's not just a you thing. It's like literally all of us are sweating it.
Yes, it's like, why does this feel like? Is this what going to the Met Gala feels like?
I was about to say that. This is what because it's an event that a lot of us don't do stuff like this regularly because like we don't. I imagine like people that go to like Coachella or festivals like that where they're like, I'm gonna get pictures and it's like a whole thing. Like you and I don't do stuff like that. One, because money, but then two, because we also are not the kind of people that go to music festivals because it's just very stressful.
I need a place to sit.
Yes.
I need my own designated
When
seat.
I get hot and tired, I am grumpy and not having fun. But
she's literally the devil.
Especially when I'm tired. I can get a little hangry, but usually I'm prepared, so I bring snacks.
Which is what's rough. We can't bring food.
I'll pay for some.
What's good? You know why another reason this is good is like those are our seats. Mm-hmm. If I get up, it doesn't matter where I am. That's going to be my seat no matter what. That's why I can't fuck with the music festival. I'm not fighting you to get up front, bitch. I had one incident with that sort of when we went to this. Me and Travis went to this music festival in Atlanta because Ellie Goulding was going to be there. This was years ago before she was like, before the Love Me Like You Do and all that kind of stuff. So, and we got close to that bitch, and I literally would never do that again in my life because it was really cool when you were there and it was fine. That's actually where I saw the group Love for the first time, which I'd never heard of them before. So I saw them live. And then later on, now I'm like, I literally love this band. So it was pretty cool. But point is, yeah, not into that. I need my own seat. Can't do it.
But like, this is an event for us. This is like this is our Met Gala. This is our Coachella. We're like sweating the details of the outfit. We're putting like the time and effort in that people want. Like when you're looking at like the Instagram photos from Coachella or the Met and you're like know nothing about fashion, but you're like criticizing like that wasn't on theme or what are they wearing? This is so like old, like just not cool or fresh or current. Like
it's like when you're driving through a neighborhood and you're like, that house is ugly. That house is this, even though you can never afford it.
Yeah. And so I guess it's like we're just putting in the time and effort to really consider all aspects of the look.
But it feels like this safe space to be as out there as possible.
Yeah.
And it's already like,
it's just fun.
She's even already said like in some of her shows, she's like, you guys knew I'd love this shit, basically, where she's like, look at all of you. Look at this. I mean, it's just imagine being her and seeing all of these people that are inspired by your eras or your different like phases in your life, and you get to like look out in the crowd and see it firsthand, the effect you've had. Like that's like so powerful.
And people that are so into like you as an artist and the art that you create and as a performer and just your whole thing, like the people are so, like you said, inspired by it, but also that they care so much and they have so much fun with it. Like this is an event. We do want to dress up. We do want to have fun because like this is like a big deal to us.
To us, it's like a big fucking deal. It's going to be a huge thing I talk about forever.
And part of it, is getting to go see her live and like the whole spectacle and the experience. Like that's cool. But it's even cooler when you put it in perspective of like, we're going to be there with several thousand other people who like are in the same mindset as us. That there's this camaraderie when you attend a live event like that, where we are all equally as like,
we're all friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in that moment, all like however many thousands of us are friends.
And I feel like it's a case of Taylor doesn't do this, but like if she were to pick one person from the crowd to come up on stage or something like that, I wouldn't be like, damn, I'm jealous of that bitch. I'd be like, oh my God, that's so exciting. How cool. I would be happy for that person.
Yeah.
Like because
it'd be weird because you'd almost feel like that's us. You would almost feel like it's you, even though it's not you, but it's like we're all friends. So we'd all be like, oh my gosh, yay.
I'm so happy for my friend.
She picked one of us.
Yeah.
Like one of us, you know? Yeah, that's so exciting. It would just be so cool. Because she does hand her hat during 22 to somebody, and I don't know how that person gets picked. I know one night it was Selena Gomez's little sister, but she hands off like the hat or whatever. And seeing that was really cool, like just any of it. Or just seeing like when someone's recording or seeing anytime she acknowledges like one person in the crowd, whether it's for an outfit or for this or for that, you're like so excited for that person. Yeah. We really love Taylor Swift.
Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just... Yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like, I think I'm just pretty great. Just staying on the
Sucks to
planet.
suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live.
Oh.
I'm Anna.
I'm Jessica.
I didn't know how long to.
That was a moment.
That was a long drawn out.
Yeah.
She kind of kept going.
It was.
Okay.
So now we'll get to
Our topics.
which one has still to do with Taylor.
Well, then let's just,
Shocker.
that's a natural segue. So let's just get into
Taylor. Joe and Taylor have broken up. Supposedly, apparently. Seems pretty confirmed at this point. That sucks. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I think as a fan base, it's kind of like, oh, well, that really sucks. Because we are... The Swifties are... It's so parasocial, dude. We're so like... We're all convinced we're going to meet her. We're all convinced that we're best friends with her. And it just is what it is. We're aware that it's not healthy, but we are who we are.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's odd because it feels like, I guess to us, again, parasocial relationship, we don't know her. We don't know them or their relationship. We don't know if it's good or bad or what, but it feels like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because we thought they were good and she wrote, all these albums about how much she loves him.
Literally on like Sweet Nothing is like the sweetest song ever on Midnights. And I'm like, what do you mean?
And then apparently they've broken up according to reports of, I don't know, neither of their camps have.
I don't think any actual reps
anything.
have confirmed. It's just sources close to the pair, but no like representatives.
They haven't confirmed or denied it.
Yeah. But I mean, that doesn't, to me, it doesn't really say one way or another if they are or aren't still together, because they have always been very private with their relationship. And, if they responded to every rumor of they're engaged, they're broken up, they're whatever, like, it defeats the point of having a private relationship. Yeah. It just seems pretty, I don't know.
But there's some celebrity couples that like will break up and then won't say anything for like a year. Who was it? I want to say it was like, was it Anna Kendrick and Bill Hader? I think they had started dating like during the pandemic and stuff. And then I think that they broke up, and it had been like a while that they had been broken up before they even said anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it's not unheard of that people will break up and then just not.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but it did feel like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
What?
And then all the internet is in like a meltdown mode of not mom and dad.
Yeah, it just depends who, because some people think dad's Harry Styles. So they're like, mom and dad. I'm like, bro, what? I mean, don't get me wrong. They're still friendly-ish now, like at award shows, Taylor and Harry. So I'm like, but mom and dad, no. I mean, Joe and Taylor. Oh, God.
That was very creaky. We need to WD-40 that arm.
But everyone's like, I don't believe in love. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not in that boat. My relationship, I'm going on year 13. So, I mean, I'm not, that's not defining my believing in love kind of a thing. I think that when you're just somebody who feels things so deeply and you're so honest about what you feel in that moment, that you're going to write some of the most beautiful and happy and heart-wrenching tracks. And I think that's something people have to understand is like in that moment, that's how people like she felt or whatever, if the songs are or aren't about him. But I mean, I think clearly a lot of them are. Well,
like even you've mentioned Cornelia Street from her Lover album, where she says I hope this never ends, and like and basically if it does, my heart's gonna be broken forever. And
why are you reminding
I'm
me?
never going to believe in love again if this doesn't work out, and I'll never be able to walk this street again because it'll remind me of you. And like, and I guess Cornelia Street being like a metaphor for being in love as well. So like
Lover makes me sad. The song Lover, that does make me, and so at her Tampa show, she had said like, my goal with songwriting and all this is like, yeah, some of these songs may have applied to me at a certain point in my life, but I just hope you can hear these songs and they can apply to your life. And I think, because she's definitely on TikTok a lot, or she was before the tour and during the first few shows, so I'm sure she still is. But I don't I think for her, the last thing she would want is for people to no longer enjoy these beautiful songs she's written. I mean, whether they aren't together or find their way back to each other or not, or whatever the case is, I mean, they're still beautiful songs that can like be applied to other people, which actually in a way is kind of a segue into our other topic, because Millie Bobby Brown had no problem using the Lover lyrics with her getting engaged. She said she used them, "I've had you 3 summers now, honey, now I want them all," as her caption in her picture, which Taylor did like. And I'm like, see, that's the vibe. The vibe is you can still love these songs and apply them to your life. They're still just as beautiful.
I think that songs, especially love songs, are eternal in a way that is paradoxical almost. So it's like the meaning of the song and how it applies and how it can be applied to so many people that spans time. That's the eternal part of it, in terms of like it lasts forever and like that meaning is universal, right? But it doesn't mean that the feeling that the song is trying to convey, it doesn't mean that that feeling is eternal and that it'll last forever, right? Because I like to think of songs, especially love songs, as like a snapshot of your life. It is a photo of a singular moment, and it can encompass all the feelings you had in that moment. But that doesn't mean that that feeling and that moment lasts forever in terms of your present.
Yeah.
So like the moment as a memory will last, and it can be a universal experience, and a lot of people can relate to it. And I think that's beautiful. But sometimes, you know, the reason that songs like Lover, or, you know, a lot of songs on the Lover album, or love songs in general, the reason you can feel so sad when you're like, how can somebody write such a beautiful song about being so in love with somebody, and then now they're just like not together anymore? And it's like, well, shit happens, bruh. Like life happens and people grow apart, or things just don't work out. But that doesn't mean that the song still isn't true. It was true for that moment.
Exactly.
And that's how deeply you can and intensely you can feel in that moment, but feelings change.
Yeah.
And so like, that's just the way it goes. Like nothing is eternal in that regard of like, you're always in a state of flux. You're always changing. So,
and I also think it doesn't mean anything. I will say the Taylor fan base is very, there's a villain in the sense of like, we villainize these guys because we hear Taylor's side, which is a beautiful thing. But at the same time, I think it is very important to remember this is her feelings that we're listening to and we can relate to. And I will say most people are very much in the same boat of let it be. He's not a bad guy. She's not a bad guy. He is the guy that has inspired some of her most beautiful just love songs ever. Just let it be. You know, whatever happened, whatever does happen, you know, what they could get back together for all we know.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know. I mean, when you love someone that much and you've been together that long, that's not just done overnight. Whatever needs to be worked through, whatever the case is, I mean, you know, maybe it's a space thing. But I think one thing she's always talked about with this particular relationship is privacy sign on the door. That's it. It's a private relationship.
Yep.
And it's like, let every aspect of it just be private. And if they want to talk about it, they will talk about it. And it's how it is.
I love that we as a fandom, as Swifties, have so much respect for her, you know, and her relationship. And like, yeah, we might be curious and want to know a little more, but also we're like, we know that she is, we can put her on this pedestal, right? As this person we idolize, but we can also recognize that she is a real person. And it comes back to a little bit of that parasocialness where we feel like she's a friend. And so it's like, you know, you respect your friends and what they want. And if they don't want to tell you about stuff, you don't push it.
No.
You don't overstep.
So yeah, guys, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through the breakup, and we really need to calm the fuck down and go touch some grass.
You need to calm down.
You're being too loud. We need to go touch some grass, chill out. But yeah, something else, talking about like just celebrities and relationships. So something else that's really blown my mind is the reaction to Millie Bobby Brown's engagement. Y'all have got to, again, calm the fuck down. It's so bizarre to me that everyone is so judgmental and they're just like, oh my God, she's so young. she's so this, her life's over. I'm like, she's a grown ass woman. They're basically the same age.
Mm-hmm.
They seem very in love.
They're age appropriate for whatever that means. They've been together for 3 years ish now. I mean, if they feel like they're at a point in their relationship in their lives where they want to get engaged and are thinking about marriage, let them live their life.
And I'm like, you cannot compare your life to these celebrities that have a fuck ton of money and financial stability and can pretty much live their lives the way they want to live them versus us. So I think it is they're at different points of their lives. And like a 20-year-old that's like us in the sense of, what we can afford and where we were when we were 20 versus where she is totally different. It's not even comparable.
And I think also a lot of people get caught up in this sort of puritanical, like, marriage is a one and done thing. I'm not saying that's wrong. Cause like, my brother and his wife had that conversation before they even got engaged. They had been dating since high school and were like, look, we need to make sure we're on the same page about what marriage means to us. Mm-hmm. And they both, fortunately, were on the same page of like, we're getting married and that's it. One of us will die before we are not married anymore. Like, divorce isn't an option. And so some people are like that. Other people, my mindset is that if you do decide to get married at some point, you might not want to be married anymore. And that's okay. Divorce is there for a reason. So I think some people get a little caught up in this idea that, marriage is supposed to be a one and done thing, or that should be your ideal. Your goal is to, you go into marriage and you're like, this is it. This is the person I'm married to and going to be with for the rest of my life. And I'm like, I think that statistically it has been proven that is not the case for at least 50% of marriages, right?
Yeah.
It just is what it is. So I think that some people are looking at Millie Bobby Brown getting engaged at 19 years old and the idea of like she's going to get married so young as like, oh my God, she's going to get married and be trapped in this marriage forever. And it's like, y'all, if she don't want to be married, she's not going to be married.
Exactly. And I think too, though, people are getting so judgmental on the fact that like, I think it's great that women can, it's very acceptable now if you want to go live your life. If you want to date around, if you want to, not get married or not do whatever or live any kind of what we've called traditional life, fine. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that it should be frowned upon if two people that are in a healthy relationship that decide they want to get married young, that is their business. And I don't think it's fair to then throw judgment onto them because of what we've decided is the new social norm, which is go live your life and party and do this and do that and date around and travel, see what your options are. Yeah. It's like some people want to like, and I think I fall into the category of I'm not married, but I've been with Travis since I was 15. And it has been a gift to be able to experience so much of life with the person that like I've loved for so long, like with a partner. Mm-hmm. It's been amazing to be able to do that. And I'm not saying that's everybody's journey, but I think that it's annoying when it's everyone's judging you when they're not in that relationship and they don't, no one's telling you to go get married. So don't get married.
I think some people too view like marriage as, the settling down sort of thing. Where it's like, oh, once you get married, that's it. Your life's over. And it's like everything that you think like a young woman could or should be doing in her, 20s and up to, maybe her early 30s of living life and being single or exploring the world and traveling or, being independent, any of that stuff. I mean, that's great. But the idea that you can't do a lot of those things with a partner.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I've done everything with him.
Yeah.
Like we've traveled together.
And it makes stuff easier.
Yeah.
When you're fortunate enough to have a partner and someone you're in a romantic relationship with that you can travel with and just have life experiences, like you said, it makes it easier in a lot of ways because it's not just you by yourself. You have support.
Yeah. Well, it's that. And it's just like, I don't know. To me, like it's been beautiful to be able to, and I think that some people are maybe designed for, but others are not. Like, growing up with, I will say it's very difficult growing up with your partner because you are not the same people. And that is something that she'll find that out too. Mm-hmm. That's just life. Yep. Especially that's like that's the flip side of dating when you're really young and having a long-term partner very young. You're not the same people you were when you first met. So there's a choice of growing up together and continuously falling in love with this person or growing apart. And that's just a decision you have to make. Because I do think that to a point, love's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
To a point. So I'm just like,
and
it's hard work.
And like you said, she is a very different life than what we would consider most like the standard American or, British or whatever single woman or young woman, like in terms of the idea of like, you graduate high school and then maybe you go to college and get a degree and like then you should start your career and travel and, do these things and live this life that you want to live before you think about settling down and, getting married, starting a family, if that's what you want, that kind of thing. Like that's not her path.
No.
Because she has been working since she was
very young.
Very young. And she, I'm sure, has been supporting herself and her family since she was very young. She's made a lot of money.
So she doesn't have that one thing that I think kills relationships is financial burden. It's not going to affect her and it's not going to affect him. That's Bon Jovi's kid.
Yeah. And as far as we know, she's not planning on going to college. I'm not aware that she is planning on doing that and living that sort of like, stereotypical struggling broke college student life. Like that's not going to be her experience as far as I know. So, I mean, she's going to be working as an actress in Hollywood as an entertainer. She's got her makeup brand. Like she's a businesswoman and she's living that life.
Yeah.
Her life is on a different path and different trajectory. So like I get where some people say like, like you said with relationships, sometimes you grow together, sometimes you grow apart through different phases of your life, but she's in a different phase, like whereas some people may not get to being like a business person and really settling into their career until their mid to late 20s. She's already done that. She's already there.
Yeah. And there's things too, like there's a lot of things that affect the relationship. Finances are a huge thing.
Oh yeah.
And that's not something that's going to affect them. They will have the luxury of being able to really figure this out without the other burdens always kind of laying on top of them. And so it's like just the judgment of all of it is like insane to me. But I'm like, you know what? Live your life.
Yeah.
Live your life.
Being, a feminist or believing in empowering women isn't, women should be single and be able to live their life and be independent. It's no, women should be able to make their own choices about what they want to do. And they should have the opportunity and the option to get to do that.
Exactly.
Without fear of repercussions or judgment or
100%. Like that's annoying. I'm like, Millie Bobby Brown getting married at 19 does not make her any less of a fucking feminist than somebody who decides to stay single till they're 40. That's not what that means.
If you want to be a housewife and be married and be raise your children and there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean you're not a
curse now. Yeah. The idea that someone will say you're just a housewife as like an insult is like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you such a hateful bitch? Like that to me, when somebody says that as an insult, is because they're insecure that they couldn't or wouldn't ever have that life because there's something inside of them that's like insecure about themselves. I'm like, I think it's so disgusting when you see other women tear other women down for, but you don't have a career, you don't have this. There's nothing wrong with wanting, there's nothing wrong with like, I've always wanted to get married and have kids and be a mother. That is literally, there's nothing wrong with that, and it doesn't make you any less of a fucking feminist.
That you're still being a housewife doesn't mean you're not a contributing member of society.
Exactly.
You could argue that's one of the most critical elements of contributing to society is raising children who are our future.
Yeah.
That is a critical element of it. And, some women want to be able to work and they then will find some sort of assistance to help with child raising, whether it's, family helping watch children or if it's paying for childcare. So the idea that you're lesser than for being a housewife and raising children, or even if you don't want to raise children, even if you're just a housewife, even if what you do is, you don't have a quote unquote regular job or a career, even if you just are staying at home and taking care of the home and helping support your husband or partner, whoever is the main breadwinner, that's not you're still a contributing member of society because you're still helping your partner. Like,
yeah. I'm just like, the judgment of it all is insane.
Yeah. Correct. We say this as we are hyper judgmental of lots of other things.
Yes. Like, okay, something I'm super judgmental segue. I'm judgmental.
We can't just have a normal segue. We have to point it out.
So if you all are not aware, HBO Max has announced a Harry Potter reboot that is going to take about 10 years to, just over time, it'll be a series that's on the air for about 10 years. And from my understanding, each book is going to be a season to be able to really tell the story of Harry Potter in depth. And it will be including J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is going to be a part of the project. I have a lot of feelings at first when I first saw this. None of them have to do with J.K. Rowling, and all of them have to do with why are we doing this? So here's the thing. For years and years and years, I think that it's been I think the Harry Potter fan base would agree that we've all wanted a prequel series about like Harry's dad, the Marauders. We've all agreed we would like that. Marauders. I've always said that wrong. It's one of those things, like I used to read like from Twilight, Carlisle's name, never read it as Carlisle, and I don't even want to talk about what I read it as.
We are not going to talk about our pronunciation.
So I always, but say it for me, the M word.
Marauders.
I've always said that wrong. Anyway, but we've always agreed that would have been a cool prequel. So when they were in the talks about a show, we're all like, okay. Is this going to be what it? No, it's not. I just don't feel Harry Potter is old enough to need this reboot.
I agree.
I just feel like it's still a very young series. It didn't even end too long ago. I mean, when they did the new Star Wars prequel, but those were prequels. It wasn't even like a reboot. So it was really, even then, I know a lot of time had passed before, like, the original Star Wars versus the prequels. And even after the prequels, the sequels to the original series, what would that be considered? So 7, 8, 9, those came out way after. So it's just like, I'm confused as to why it's needed.
I would have preferred an expansion on the universe.
A brand new story would have been fine with me, honestly.
I would have preferred, like, I would love to hear about some of the other wizarding schools.
I think one thing that would have been cool was even like the American ones. Yeah, but that would have been really cool because they're mentioned in Fantastic Beasts because some of that story takes place in America. I think most of it does. And they've mentioned those schools or even the other schools because they do have other ones. So I'm like,
yeah, I would have preferred some sort of but part of it is because I'm not the biggest fan of reboots in terms of like, let's just tell the same story again differently.
It's too iconic.
I think it's so looking at another intellectual property that did this. So you have like the Shadowhunter series. So that originally City of Bones was a movie, starred Lily Collins and Jamie Campbell Bower. Woo! I'm surprised I remember that name. I'm like, who is he? I saw his face. But that movie came out, didn't do great. I enjoyed it for what it was because I read that series and loved it. And then a few years later, they decided to make it into a TV show on Freeform. And so the TV show, brand new cast, and they really expanded the storyline, I think, and went more in depth and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's different because it was one movie that didn't perform as well, although I liked the aesthetics of the movie better. But the TV show went on for several seasons. It was pretty good. And so I think that's different when you have Harry Potter, which was 8 feature-length films. So there's a lot of material there. It's a lot to then try and reboot that so soon. I don't feel like it's needed. I feel like I read the books one time through a long time ago. Loved them. I've seen all the movies. I've seen some of the movies several times. Enjoy them. I don't feel like I'm missing a lot.
No, I mean in the video, like the Hogwarts Legacy game did super well, super fun. I have read the Harry Potter books multiple times. I've watched the movies multiple fucking times. I mean, I literally adore Harry Potter. It's one of my favorite things ever. I mean, look, we clearly love Harry Potter. That being said, it's just like, and I think too, I'm nervous that whoever's going to be cast, in a way, you're setting them up to fail because I'm sorry, Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. That he just is. I'm not. He's in other stuff, and that's fine. So I'm not saying he can't be other things, but that's like trying to recast Tony Stark. Like
Emma Watson is Hermione.
She is. Rupert Grint
is Ron. Yes,
I'm like, that's how you say his name, right?
Yes,
is Ron. Like, yeah. Tom Felton is Draco Malfoy.
I feel like those movies, they cast everyone so well. Like they match so well the image in my head of all the characters when I was reading the books.
Mm-hmm.
And they also performed it really well. So, I mean, they're iconic at this point.
Who
like,
the fuck is gonna be Snape? Don't even come for me. I know who you're gonna say. You're all gonna say it needs to be Adam Driver. I agree. In a prequel that we wanted.
Oh, okay. Also, I have a question. HBO Max
is now going to be called Max soon, by the way.
But so in HBO, their original content is not aimed at children for the most part. I think and they've actually made an effort. They're like removing cartoons and stuff from their streaming service and stuff. That was the whole thing where like there were some TV shows that are just gone. Mm-hmm. Specifically like animation, cartoons, children type stuff. So I'm like, who was this TV show aimed at?
It's us.
Because the reason I asked that is because I enjoy the Harry Potter films for the nostalgia. I originally watched them, growing up, like how J.K. Rowling intended the books to be. You read the first one when you're around the same age as Harry, and then you grow up with him reading the books. And so they become darker, more complex, more
100%.
Like adult themes.
Our generation, 100%. Like literally, so like yes. I'm 28. I grew up with that. Mm-hmm. I was waiting for the books to come out. Mm-hmm. I was waiting for the movies to come out.
I read the first Harry Potter book when I think the first two or three of them when I was in the 5th grade. Mm-hmm. So I was right around the age Harry would have been, going into Hogwarts more or less.
I mean, literally by the time the last movie came out when like we graduated, the 2012 I think is when it came out. 2011.
I graduated in 2013.
So right around the time, around the within that period we're graduating. Mm-hmm. So it's like we literally grew up. We were the exact same age as the character throughout everything, and so it's like.
But I say that to say,
who is this? Who's growing up with this?
I don't know that I, as a 28-year-old who does have a lot of love and nostalgia and who like we are the target demographic of people who are watching Harry Potter and love it, right? Mm-hmm. We're the people consuming it. So I don't know that I have an interest in going back and watching a full season of a TV show about, how old is he? 11, 12? 11?
He should be 11.
I don't know that I have a lot of interest watching a whole TV show that's centered on an 11-year-old from an 11-year-old's perspective telling an 11-year-old story.
It's like, I don't know. See, I see that as yes and no. I see like, yeah, because when it originally came out, I was so young and I was like, oh my God, I love it. The storyteller in me is like, it's just such an amazing story. So it's like, I want to watch it. But at the same time, I'm like, it's going to be weird because
I can't relate to that.
I know it's dumb, but I'm like, dude, Harry Potter is not old enough to need this reboot. I'm sorry. It's going to be so hard for me to see anybody else play Harry or any of them. It's going to be so difficult. And I don't care the blessing. I don't give a shit if all of the actors in Harry Potter say we all need to give him a chance. I understand mentally I need to, but it's going to be hard for me to accept it because of the fact that it's so ingrained that these people are these characters and it's still so fresh.
I don't know.
It's so weird.
I just keep coming back to I have a hard time understanding.
And like you said, it's not going to be marketed towards little kids.
No, because
so I'm not interested in an overly dark Harry Potter in the first one either. The first one's supposed to make me feel good. Mm-hmm. I don't need it to be overly dark.
Yeah. So you can compare it to, well, there's other TV shows that are made where it features younger people, but it is geared and aimed toward young adults, people in their 20s, early 30s. So you could point to things on like the CW or on Freeform. So you've got like, Riverdale or.
Yeah, but those suck.
Yeah. But even then, they're older. They're not 11.
Yeah.
They are teenagers.
Stranger Things. Okay. There's that one. They're young.
But even that.
But they have adults in them.
There's adults in that. It's also darker. It's it's more of like a horror type thriller sort of thing.
It is and it isn't. It's very like they are kids. They're 100% kids. So you are seeing these kids deal with this very insane type of. So it is similar in that aspect. But so I'm like, I can see it being done just because, I mean, it's a whole different world. There's magic. There's this, there's that, there's a third. It's whatever. Fine. But to me, I can't get past the fact that like, why? It's not, 20 more years, 30 more years, I could see this being done. I just don't get why it's the Harry Potter reboot that no one asked for when clearly for years and years and years and years, literally everybody's been asking for like a prequel or a different story. Like I love the Harry Potter universe. It's an amazing fucking universe that has it's like Star Wars in the sense of so many different stories get to be told in this, and the world itself is so interesting. I just don't see why this is necessary at all. And it's just going to be weird. And it's like,
I don't know. I get what you're saying about the Stranger Things concept of like, yeah, that is a TV show that focuses on a main cast of younger kids. And it is a show aimed at like adults or older teenagers.
It's really aimed at almost, Stranger Things is unique that almost anyone can enjoy. So it is kind of like Harry Potter. A lot of adults did read Harry Potter. There were a lot of parents who their kids were reading it and then they read it and they were very surprised about like, there's so much that's being taught in here and there's so much that's like, it's a good story. It's so, that's what was, Harry Potter was unique in the idea that this is a children's story, but it has so much substance to it. It's so just actually a good plot. And it's like, it's not like the fish was this and this was this. And it's not like blah, 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 blah.
But yeah, I mean, it goes back to, we've also talked about how the writing and the themes become more complex as the books go along, because that's just naturally, that's how J.K. Rowling wanted it to be, and the story becomes more adult. I don't know. I think the Stranger Things, which I haven't seen, but I know vaguely what it's about. It just seems to me that type of show lends itself, like the darker themes and sort of like the monster sort of aspect of it. It just lends itself to being a little more of a mature show.
Yeah, I mean, remember though, in the first Harry Potter, I'm not defending the reboot because I'm not a fan, but I do think it's light, but it is dark. I mean, they're in the Forbidden Forest and the unicorn's dead and there's unicorn blood and this thing, they're in that dark forest, you know, and they're like, they hear the noises and they see like that hooded figure attacks Harry, and it is scary. I remember it scared me as a kid. It's still kind of creepy as it's not. Well, now it's kind of funny to see him fly away, but you know, it was creepy. At the end of the movie, you know, he disintegrates into like dust, and there's fire, and I mean, there are like some scary things in it. Stranger Things is 100% more scary, but it isn't just rainbows and butterflies in the first one. It sets up darker themes for later, but like you said, it does get like darker as it goes on. So I'm like, I just don't, it is going to be weird though, because while I think adults can enjoy Harry Potter, if it's on HBO Max, which is like you're saying, it's an adult for the most part.
It's not children's programming. It's not aimed at children. It's not aimed at preteens. Yeah. It is firmly in the camp of like, you know, I would say like 14, 15 and up.
Yeah. So if that's not going to be your market, then it's weird. I mean, it would have made, if Netflix did it, I would have been like, okay, everyone's kind of in that vein, but HBO doing it, we'll see. Now, the one thing besides that, because I mean, we're gonna have to wrap it up, that I do think is insane, and I know it's kind of like, how are you not going to talk about this part for a minute? I think it's ignorant to think that that if the reboot's gonna be good, you have to have J.K. Rowling. I don't think it's possible to do a reboot and it actually surpassed your expectations and surprised us with how good it is without the literal creator of the Harry Potter universe. I think that it's very ignorant to think that this could have been done without her. And I think that no matter how you feel, I'm not getting into that today, your personal feelings on J.K. Rowling and whether you think she's transphobic or not, she is the creator of Harry Potter. And whether or not, I think if you're somebody who doesn't like her, I'm not here to convince you that you should. I am going to say, though, that if you're somebody who doesn't like her, but you love Harry Potter and it's given you something and it's made you feel a certain way in your life in a positive way, you do have to remember that is because of her. She wrote it. So if you want, with this reboot happening, and her being involved, it might make you feel that way again. So I know that can be kind of polarizing and kind of like, might feel like it's contradicting itself. But I think that the only way it would be as good as it was the first time is if she's there. And that's just my opinion. And I was relieved that she was going to be, because it feels like the only way that it could be even more authentic. Because there are things that we're missing in the movies, like Peeves. That was a huge thing. He was like, he's the poltergeist in Hogwarts. Nope, the people that watch the movies don't even know who that is. If you've played the Hogwarts Legacy, you know who it is now, but So there are a lot of things missing. And there were things in the movies I didn't like that I'm like, if this is going to happen, could be beautiful. Like they really didn't just talk about Snape and Lily's relationship in depth as much as the books did, which is it was way more sad.
I think even like and some people pointed this out online, that Harry and Jenny's relationship, I've always thought it was just awkward. Like I didn't really understand, in the books they are so into each other, but like hesitant to kind of go for it, and there's this like sort of like everyone around them is like trying to get them to go for it, and they can see that it's there and they're just hesitant or for whatever reason. Like, and then when they finally do decide they're going to be in a relationship, it's like, yes, you just really feel that. In the movies, I got none of that. It's like wet cardboard. Like, I don't feel nothing.
The only passionate scene between Harry and Jenny in the whole movies that makes me just feel something is when she runs after him in the burrow, when it's Bellatrix going, I can't, Sirius Black. And then they're going through all the things that she just runs after Harry, because that's the first time you see like how much she loves him. And that's really, other than that, there's really not a lot of chemistry between the two. And even then, that's not a chemistry on scene as much as that's just in the moment you're able to see she's like, I'm fucking going after him. I don't give a fuck about anything else. That's like the most powerful relationship scene to me that they have. And so, yeah, I think there's plenty of things to explore in the Harry Potter universe, and just his actual story that really wasn't. So it's like, I don't see the need for it just because the media aspect of it is still so fresh. But I do think that if it's going to be done, the only way that it could have been done and it not suck is if she's involved. J.K. Rowling has to be involved.
I mean, she put out a statement saying the only reason she would greenlight this project is if she could be involved. And it was because she's interested in a faithful adaptation of the books.
And I do think that is something that I have seen. I do not need this Harry Potter series to be the social woke savior of media. I do not need to see every person changed and everybody's sexual orientation changed or identity changed or whatever for the sake of the current social culture of inclusivity or whatever we want to call it. That's not authentic to the original story. So that was one thing when I saw it. I was like, I don't fucking want this shit to be the next. What is that show everyone criticizes on Netflix? Something Ginny.
Oh, Ginny and Georgia.
Something. Yeah, where basically every 2 seconds, social media is mentioned, everyone's gay, or so. I mean, I'm just saying, I've never watched the show. However, I've just seen this whole online criticism of like, holy shit, we get it, you're woke. I don't want woke Harry Potter.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's a danger of that happening because not with her involved.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, the only reason I'm like,
because she wants a faithful adaptation. I mean, I think that, if a character, if their physical description to an extent doesn't match what's in the books, I mean, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's more about like the personality. I mean, part of why certain aspects of Hermione's physical appearance are important is because she goes from like ugly duckling to swan, right? That's part of her evolution. She goes from ugly duckling, bookworm, whatever, into like,
Yeah, she has that big moment in the forest. Yeah. The Yule Ball.
Where they're like, oh my God. But she's got like, this frizzy, super curly hair. She's got buck teeth. So like those physical descriptors, like they have to be appropriate. You have to kind of portray that to some extent.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, Draco Malfoy has blonde hair. He is like pale skinned. He is just like white boy blonde. He's gotta be. That's literally him. Like that's his whole family. And that kind of is like you could even say that's like the rich boy thing.
It's a defining characteristic of those characters.
Exactly.
Their appearance to a certain degree tells us things about them as characters, as it's supposed to.
Like and because that's the thing too. It's slicked back. It's always done very like he's very like well manicured.
Yeah. Put together. Appearance. Yeah. Yes. It almost has to be like perfect.
Yes. And so it's like then you have Harry and he has the shaggy black hair. All this stuff is too oversized. He has the green eyes because of his mom. Like, that was one thing in the movies that wasn't done right. Because Daniel Radcliffe couldn't wear contacts because he was one of the few people in the world that has this horrible reaction to them. His eyes are supposed to be green, y'all. Not blue. Just so y'all know. So it's like there are things that, you know, but at the same time, that was his mom in the movies ended up having blue eyes, so whatever. Because the whole point is you have your mother's eyes. But it's just like, you know, like Snape. That's why Alan Rickman's casting of Snape was perfect. I mean, literally is exactly how I imagined Snape. But it's fucking phenomenal. So I'm just like, you know, I have mixed feelings about it. The only saving grace to me is that she's involved. Because no matter how you feel about her, she made Harry Potter. She birthed Harry Potter. And it is an amazing, beautiful story that I do think that if you consumed it young or whenever you consumed it, I do think it was very character defining for a lot of us. And I do think that there is an impact Harry Potter had on making a lot of people kinder and just better people and more accepting.
I think that it is okay to have complex relationships with both artists and the stuff that they produce. I'm not saying, you know, separate the art from the artist.
But I do think
it's okay. It's okay that a person can say things or do things and it, you know, hurt people in terms of like, you know, it impacts them in a certain way. And it may not affect you, what they say and do in that way. But they can also make things and say things and produce great works that do make you feel in a positive way and that you really, really appreciate and can like, there's a deep connection there. I think you can also experience both things. You can also be like, I'm hurt by these things she said and done, but I also really have a deep appreciation and connection to this other work that she's created.
Yeah.
Two things, they can be simultaneously true, and it's okay to have mixed feelings about it. I don't know that we need to go around like condemning people for certain things, you know, or for having those complex feelings or relationships and whatever.
Yes, and I think J.K. Rowling is just somebody who, I don't know, I have a very deep respect for J.K. Rowling in the sense of I'm like, you know, her story is amazing to me. It's always inspired
as a writer, as a creator, as a somebody with a vision.
Yes, I'm like, it's hard for me to look at her as anything other than like someone I deeply look up to. That's not to say anything else. So I'm just like, you know, she's the only reason I'll watch this, to be honest. So take that as what you will, I guess. So anyway, guys, we're wrapping up because guess what? We went way over, so my life's going to be really hard.
That's okay. Maybe you'll hear about my Salem story at the beginning, or maybe not. That may be cut.
I don't know. But anyway, guys, we will... we need more attention, so I need you guys to like, comment, subscribe everywhere, please. So that's pretty much that. That's all the begging I feel we need. No one cares.
No.
Anyway, we'll talk at you later. Well, next episode will probably be Taylor Swift recap, so look out for that. Probably.
Yeah.
I would think. We'll see. Who knows? Anyway, we'll talk at you next week. Bye.
Thanks for watching. So how about that chicken? Are you feeling the chicken? I'm kind of feeling the chicken. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications to make sure you don't miss any future uploads. Talk at you next time. Bye.